Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, this is March the 27th of 25 and we've been just trying to occupy our time between rain showers here. It's been raining for days off and on, and here right now this afternoon it seems to be letting up for a bit. So I decided I'm not going to get on anything too heavy. I'm going to work in the shop quite a bit, but I'm working on the old D6, and as you can see I've got a generator here. It's a 6-volt, but I'm going to convert it from a 6-volt generator, and I'm going to put an alternator on it. It's going to be quite the deal. What I've done so far is first off I removed all the wires, and there used to be a regulator for the generator mounted on this plate. I've actually moved the plate over from these 2 bolts over to this area. Also, I've taken off the back cowling and the cooling fan that's mounted on the back of the shaft. I took that off of there. We're not going to need that anymore. It's not going to be generating, so it doesn't have to be circulating air through there anymore. It's just going to supply a drive force for my alternator, and to make that conversion, I've got this, I think it's a 3.5 inch, just a regular pulley, aluminum. I'm not going to use the set bolt, but I've got it I bored out the shaft there an extra 1/16 of an inch or something just with a drill bit. I should have taken it into my friend's place there and used a lathe on it, you know, because the drill bit does not drill it totally centered, because there is a keyway passage there, so it deflects a little bit. But it seemed to have done the job, so it fits right on there onto the back of that generator shaft. And that is held by this retaining washer and a set bolt, and it just tightens the hub of that pulley up against the race of that bearing. I might have to throw some thread lock in there, I don't know, but this is just mocking it up basically to see if this is going to work. I already did this on the bench in the shop. I had the generator in the shop and cleaned it up. The interesting to note on this generator is underneath the yellow is green from, I'm thinking this at one time was operating on a military cat. Over the years, somebody needed a new generator. They sourced out, you know, spare parts, whatever. Ended up on this machine, but it definitely has been painted green originally with yellow thrown on top of it. The yellow just flakes off, but the green stays. So anyway, we got that's our first step on there. Got that drive pulley mounted on. Now, I already went ahead. I never modified the alternator at all, but I did make these 2 tabs. They're just mocked up for now. They're just bolted into the mounting holes of the alternator. And because of the direction of the generator, it rotates this way when the engine is running, so it has to turn the alternator this way so the fan will suck air through and get some cooling. I know it's backwards, so it's not the best or ideal, but just for a few hours a year I think it's going to work just fine. Now, because I moved that mounting plate back, I just got to weld these tabs where that paint line is in that position. Make sure it's squared up and get it welded in. This pulley is totally lined up with that pulley. I'm hoping that the ratio of 2.5 inch pulley or 3.5 inch pulley to this one, which is a 2.5, I guess, is going to work. And then to measure it, I just took an old belt just to measure to get order a new belt for this thing, or from town. I just took an old belt and I marked it halfway across, up to halfway up here, took that measurement and doubled it plus a ½ inch. So that'll allow me to tilt up this alternator to tighten up the belt. I've got to figure out something to have to hold it in its adjustment, but we'll figure something out, that's for sure. All right, that's what we got going for now. We'll bring you back when I get this welded up and a belt in place. And hopefully we'll be able to start it up and get it wired in there and have it producing some voltage. So there, I've got it, brought that into the shop there. I got the alternator off it right now, but those two ears are welded to that back plate. And when I get the alternator on there, it should be theoretically just perfectly in line. And the measure of my belt should be a 24-inch 7/16 or 3/8, whatever belt. We'll figure that out when we get to the parts store. But yeah, what's the old saying? I'm a welder, not a grinder. But in my case, it's the other way around. I'm a grinder, not a welder. But anyway, I think she's going to hold for all of my hours I'm going to put on this thing. And hopefully this is going to all work out after all this prefabbing. We'll bring you back when we get our alternator on. Okay, we got that mocked up. Just got that retaining bolt just in there for now. Just it's not bolted down tight, but I got plenty of working room here. So that's going to work out really good. And then for this here belt tightener adjustment, I think I'm just going to come off of these. Can you see that back there? Yeah, the two mounting bolts here for the generator. I'm just going to make a bracket that comes out from this one and comes out here, and that'll just go up and down there. I think that's going to work out pretty easy. All right, things are coming along. Just got to get the right belt. I got it calculated for 24 inches, but we can go to 25, 26, 27 probably with all that leeway. It wouldn't be bad to be out in this area here. Yeah, so it's coming along. Hopefully it's going to work out. First thing to do is to take the pets out for a walk. Every morning. Come on, kitty, get going. Some of us go walking quicker than others. Okay, back at it this morning. Just walked the cat and the dog, so we got that over with. Got our exercise in for the day. So we're back at the generator situation. I got this alternator mocked up into position. The back tabs have been welded and just pinned with that bolt. I went into town and I got this here nice little belt, and it's just going to fit perfectly. But underneath here I got a big part of a bar stock I'm going to tack into that plate, and it's just going to rest on the body of the generator coming across the top of the generator. And then I managed to get this here alternator adjustment arm from the old Dodge 300 down there, the old wreck. It's always offering up a few parts. But anyway, so we got that there. I was originally, and I still might, if this doesn't work out, put a couple of tabs out on these two bolts here, some kind of a framework, bring a brace across there and attach that to that brace, but it seems to be prone to a lot of vibration. This is pretty short and sweet. Shouldn't be any vibration. So, first order of business is we're going to get the Hobart going, and we're going to tack that into place back here. Take it all apart, weld it up good, weld and grind it. and then get it mocked back up again. See how that's going to work out. Put on the gauntlets, because me and welding is wild and crazy. Okay, hopefully I got that tacked in there well enough. I'm going to take my alternator off there and bring that brace right off the tractor and put it in the shop there so I can weld it up very professionally. Well, like I've heard it said before, a little while later. Well, we finally got that all engineered, welded up, ground up, and ground off, and all the welds are hidden pretty much by the alternator and this voltage regulator. And you might be wondering why there's a voltage regulator when you're going with an alternator. Well, this here alternator is externally regulated. It's not the type that has an internal regulator. So this is all new to me, but I understand, according to the YouTube videos, you can use your regular regulator, get that work out somehow. I don't know, you have to get some fancy wiring going on, but we're going to try that out. So here we got the belt tightened. This is pretty solid. This is solid. I got it, there's a live post here in case it starts generating the 6 volt. I got a insulator behind there in this bar stock. So yeah, just got to figure out some wiring. I got a amp gauge. All I need over here, I'm just going to set it up here as the tractor is running, idling, just to make sure everything is going to work. Amp gauge and on-off switch, all that kind of stuff, and a battery sitting right here just temporarily. So I'm going to get all set up for that, and then we'll bring you back when we got all that kind of operational. Okay, well, I have been working at this alternator conversion, 12 volt alternator conversion from a 6 volt DC generator system. And I got it all rigged up here, starting with the battery. I got booster cables on just so as I can run the battery over to the other side, the power on the other side to start the pony, to start the diesel. So that's why the booster cables are on there. This side is also negative, so it's that cable is providing the ground for the electrical system as well. So coming off the positive side, I got 10 gauge wire with a amp gauge mounted right here against the battery, close to the battery, and it goes on over. Now this is just a regular old style mechanical regulator. This goes right up to this here terminal here for battery. And this black wire here comes down to this switch and supplies power when you turn on your ignition. Got a light on here, and it sends power to the field winding in the alternator. Now this alternator is a externally regulated alternator. A couple ways to tell the difference there is quite easy. I'll be pointing that out here when I pull this back off. But meanwhile, I got this all wired up. This says armature, so it goes to the big post on the alternator. The next one below says field, and it goes on up to one of the blade connectors up behind the regulator. And yeah, that's how it gets its regulated current or signal. But I had this thing started and I can't get it to do anything. So I don't know. I might need to just take this mechanical regulator right off and get a electronic regulator. Normally alternators had electronic regulators. Somewhere along the line I was told that this will work as well, but whatever, I just can't get it to work. And I'm pretty sure that the alternator does work, because it did peg this needle. It goes up uncontrollably up to 20 amps, so you can't work with that. That's just going to burn stuff out. So anyway, what I've decided is I'm just going to take this external regulated alternator off. I'm going to leave this intact, because this, if I do away with the alternator, I can just put it back on the 6 volt or the 12 volt generator, and that should work. So I'll just leave this here intact with all the wires off. But anyway, I'll bring you back after I get the both alternators here on the tracks. Okay, I got both of these alternators on the tracks now, and I did have to remove this regulator after all, because the bolt I put in the alternator had to come out that way, so it was in the road. So it's off now, so it'll probably stay off. Who knows, I'll probably change my mind later on. But anyway, the differences of the physical differences of an internally regulated, this is a one wire, I believe it's an AC Delco, off a Chevy, whatever. And this one here is the externally regulated one, and the differences are that this is a more of a full face flat casting. This one here, there's areas that just not there, and it's just different shaped altogether. These sensor blades or connections come directly out of the back, and they're kind of like in series, I guess, stacked, coming out, marked R and F. And on this single wire, they come through the top, but they're more or less a parallel blade. You can see that they're in a row this way, different orientation. So that's one of the, and 1 and 2. Actually, below the 2, there's a F, and 1, there is an R. So they do have, they do the same purpose as R and F here, and then 1 and 2. I guess I didn't know that before. I just seen that right now. 1 and 2, R and F, but just R and F on this one. Anyway, so we're going to get this one rolled into position up there and get that installed. I'm going to have to modify my wiring a bit, but we'll get it happening and see what we can get working here for us. Okay, it's been a little while later. We got the same operation going here at the battery. Booster cables going to the far side to start the pony. Positive coming off, off the positive side to the ammeter. Red line now is just going directly to the back of this alternator. And then it's got the ground. I put this back in place at, whatever I need to use this ground bolt anyway, so I put it in there, put it back in place, put the ground back to there, and I run the bolt in the reverse, so it comes in this way. So now I can pull the bolt out that way to, and don't have to bother with that regulator. And the regulator is just going to go for the ride for for now. Good place for storage. You won't lose it. I'll know where it is. But anyway, so once we got the number 10 gauge up to the power side of the alternator, I think it's the number 2 post on the alternator is just going straight over to the power of the, like through this little piggy tail here, right to this red wire. And the control signal line comes out, goes through my make-believe ignition switch on and off. I took the inline light away. I don't think it was doing me any favors. I took this alternator off my old case tractor, the case D, and it worked the way it's wired up now, just straight to ammeter and the ignition switch. So this should do the same. The only thing that's different is there's actually no electrical ignition, it's the diesel. So no points, condenser, all that kind of stuff to power up with the battery. So we're going to go ahead and start this unit up and see if we get some charging going on. Just going to walk away so if I lose the sound of that engine running. And nothing is getting hot, but it's charging up to 15 amps right now. Maybe the battery is that low. I know it's sluggish starting the pony, but it seems like it should be going down to below 10, 5 or something like that. But I did end up putting that light in line, and it is out. It's gone out. So apparently I'm thinking the thing is working properly, but it seems to be charging a pretty good deal. Almost too heavy. I don't have a voltmeter, so I wish I had. Well, actually I got my little digital reader so I can read what I got there. .3 volts, so I guess it's working normally. Maybe my alternator meter is not working. I don't know if you can see that on my little LED, but I had 14.3 volts, which is in the range. That's what it's supposed to be doing. So seems pretty heavy on the amperage, though. It's not running enough. I'm going to say that we're a success with our little rig up there. That alternator seems to be running around there true. I had to change the pulley because the original pulley on it was misaligning on the belt. I had to change the pulley over so it's running through on the pulley. But I think she's working pretty good. She's looking pretty smart now. I'll just have to go ahead and wire up the electrical system like it's supposed to, the battery over at the far side, the alternator or the amp meter over on the far side. So yeah, pretty successful. Okay, that's going to be a wrap for today. I got that whole thing wired up in there. It's not the neatest wiring job, that's for sure, but there ain't the neatest thing about this old cat in the first place. Yeah, got an alternator on there, run the lights. They're LED lights, mind you. It's not going to take much power, but I just wanted to have a 12 volt system rigged up. I got a battery in there now, 12 volt battery. Push button start on the pony. It starts like a dam all the time, and she's a nice old unit to have around. Yeah, so that's about all we got for today. that's about all we got for today. Glad you were able to keep hanging out with me there, putting this here old electrical system together. It took a little bit of time, but we got her done. If you like these videos, like, subscribe, and above all, please comment. Really appreciate it. I'm going to take a little bit of a time at this moment here to mention, over the last while I've been working at the member side of the channel, starting that up. I'm starting to plug up a few a little different or unique videos on the members side. There's not very many up there, 2 or 3, 4, 5, whatever. I think 4 now. But yeah, so I'm just gonna try to go that route, and we'll see what happens with the memberships. Bye for now.